Good morning, everyone, and welcome to In the Garden with Joyful Living. I am Kimberly Dixon. I literally just stepped outside my patio door. Typically, before I do the inner gardens, I come out and I look at everything and tidy up everything. But this morning, you're going to get a first look, just as I am getting it for the first time today. So, while we wait for a few people to join us, let's take a look around the garden this morning. So, Jack is doing beautifully, and if anybody's read any childhood story, you know why this is called. His name is Jack because he's a beanstalk. That's Blue Lake green beans, and that's the first green bean on this particular plant. This week I put a cage around my sweet potatoes. I don't know if you saw it in the very beginning, but it was just sweet potatoes stuck down in dirt, and now they have their slips. I'm using a different technique than what most people do, where they grow the slips in water, yada, yada, yada. And they should typically start them back in February. I didn't do that. So I do use a different technique by starting the potatoes in soil. And that's the progress they've made so far. Look, guys, we have white potatoes. I didn't think, the first ones I planted didn't sprout. So, I had to redo them, and within a week, we have the emergence of white potatoes. That's the red potatoes, and many of you who watch me on a regular basis know these are regular shopping bags. I didn't buy grow bags. I used what I had. The other bag of red potatoes. This is Little Jack. Little Jack is pinto beans. I'm not going to show you everything out here. Can't see for the sun, but that's a jalapeno. It's got some jalapenos growing on it. I've got the emergence of the first hot cayenne pepper. I put some netting around my cherry tomato because it had lots of beautiful little cherry tomatoes on it, and I came out to pick them and discovered a bird had decided to have lunch, so we didn't get to feast on that. I picked my first squash earlier this week, so everybody else is in the growing stages. Cucumber is doing well. Oh, there's what's the Burpless hybrid cucumber. I can never remember the name of that one. But this one, look at this cucumber. This is the Boston pickling cubes, and so it's the smaller variety. I don't know if you can see all the cucumbers that are on that plant, but the last time I counted, it was 10 of those. That's the zucchini plant, looking lovely. But I'm most pleased with the dwarf sunflowers that I planted. My mammoth sunflowers, most of them have met their demise, but I'm really pleased at the progress. Most of you all saw how small they started out. They were about that tall when I put them in this bucket, and now look at them. I know that's a good 2 feet. Green beans and pinto beans, all of these, well, except for the ones in the basket, but all of the ones in the ground, they have beans growing on them. Not going to be before you long this morning, but just wanted to come on and chat for just a minute. Trying to find, I don't want to, that's all my mint varieties. I'll move them in just a minute so that they don't get too hot during the course of the day. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't feel my best this morning. Not as in COVID-19, not feel well, but allergies are bothering me. I spend a tremendous amount of time outdoors, and I don't feel good today. But I want to talk for just a minute about the fact that everybody is uncomfortable right now. Yesterday I saw a post from the very first life coach that I ever had. Good morning, everybody who's joined. I can see that there are people online, but it's not showing me who's watching, so you know how fickle Facebook can be sometimes, so we're just going to roll with the punches. But I wanted to talk for just a minute about everybody is uncomfortable right now. We are experiencing a season that most of us have not experienced, none of us have experienced a COVID-19, the pandemic environment. And then we have all of this unrest that's going on in the country. Yesterday, I saw a post, I think it was yesterday, day before, a friend of mine, my life coach, the first life coach I ever had, she posted a long commentary about a conference call she had, and there were several Caucasian women on the phone that said that they didn't know what to say, and that at first it irritated her, but as she continued to listen to them, and it softened her heart a bit. But this is what I want everybody to realize right now. Everybody is uncomfortable. And I think that starting by saying, I don't know what to say, is a great place to start the conversation. And it's a great place for us to start communicating with each other. Good morning, Keisha. For us to start communicating with each other. That's a great place to start. It's by saying, I don't know what to say, to start the conversation. Because we all know, in the business world, in the self-improvement world, we always talk about being uncomfortable, and that's where the growth occurs. And that's the absolute truth. We are all uncomfortable. And I'm just going to be honest, for Caucasian people, white people, whatever term you use, the uncomfortableness you're feeling right now, Black people have been feeling for decades or their entire life. The uncomfortableness you feel when a police officer or a cop car gets behind you, the uncomfortableness you feel when you take your trash out at night, when you go into a coffee shop, when you are having a cookout, anything. There's a level of uncomfortness to that because we don't know what the outcome is going to be. The things that are simple, mundane things that are not even a part of your thought process, we have to think about it and consider it because of the world we live in, because of the community we live in. If you live in a predominantly a diverse neighborhood, or if you live in a predominantly white neighborhood, all it takes is for someone of that's white to feel uncomfortable around you and call the police on you, and now you've got a situation. I don't know if y'all heard that loud click, but my dishwasher is running. But the uncomfortableness we feel today, that is a great place to start the conversation. It's just a start. To have real change come about, we've got to start the conversation, but then we got to take some action. So I'm doing this quick in the garden this morning to let people know that everybody feels uncomfortable right now. And in order for us to get beyond this point, we've got to start the conversation. Yes, during the peaceful protests and the cops taking a knee, that's a great start. But until they actually make some changes to the policies and do some training to teach officers how to de-escalate, that's just a start. It's just a gesture. But that's a great place to start. It's not the end. So I want everybody to remember that when we're interacting with each other, when we are trying to communicate, that everybody is uncomfortable right now. Nobody knows what exactly to say. There isn't a right thing to say. The right thing to do, though, is to start talking. And let's be clear. People are going to play a role in this in different ways. Some people are going to take part in protests. Some people are going to share their message with whatever platform that they have. If you have any kind of audience, whether you're a business owner or a life coach or just someone who has lots of followers, that's an opportunity for you to use your platform to help bring about change. People are going to respond and communicate in a different way. So I want everybody to be cognizant of, just because I choose to participate and bring about change in a way that is beneficial to the world because I have a platform, that may be different from someone who chooses to protest, who chooses to participate in a peaceful protest, which may be different from somebody who chooses to write a blog about it. The point is that we all have to be part of this. We all have to be part of the solution. So whatever you can do, it's time for us to start acting in a manner that you are capable. You you may not be, I told y'all I didn't feel good this morning. You may be able to reach a different segment of the population than I reach, because we have a different audience. That doesn't mean you don't say anything. It means you do what you can do. So nobody's going to do the exact same thing. Some of us are going to protest. Some of us, so I'm sorry, guys, it was a spider doing a web. I don't know where it was coming from, but I wasn't going to let it land on me. So all I wanted to chat about this morning, though, was just to take a few minutes to say that we are all uncomfortable right now. But this is an opportunity for us to start the conversation. And until we start feeling the love of Jesus in our hearts, we aren't going to bring about change in this world. It's just that simple. We've got to start working on our heart first before we can change humanity. So that's a great place. Start with your own heart, and then start talking to people. Start having the uncomfortable conversations. Like, let's talk about this thing. I don't know what to say. Start with that. And not that we're going to, as a black person, not if you say that you don't know what to say, we're going to automatically have the answer. But we have to start having the conversations. We cannot bring about change if we don't talk. We cannot bring about change if we don't start enacting some policies to end systemic racism. Because the uncomfortableness that white people are feeling today, black people have felt their entire life. I'm not even going to go into history. I'm just talking about today. Because, I wasn't a slave. I can't speak to how that felt. I didn't experience Jim Crow or the Civil Rights era. I can't speak to that because I wasn't old enough. I didn't experience any of that. But I can speak from the experiences I've had as a 50-year-old woman. And I can tell you that I've been uncomfortable my entire life because of a world that didn't see me as good enough, smart enough, belonging here, any of those things. But in order for us to start bringing about some changes in the U.S. and the world that we live in, we got to start having the conversations, and just starting with, I don't know what to say. Let's start there. And then take it to some policies, to some changes of hearts and minds, so that we can coexist in this world peacefully. And so that we can love each other and experience the love of Jesus with each other. And it's not to say that we should all be the same. We shouldn't be. God created us differently for a reason. He didn't make everybody one race and one color just so that we can say everybody is equal. Everybody is the same. We are all equal. We are not the same. There's nothing wrong with that. And recognizing that we are not the same, that's okay. So let's learn how to celebrate each other's differences instead of using it as a way and a means to separate us. You're not better than I am. I'm not better than you. But we can love each other and grow and make this world a better place because of our differences, not in spite of them. So, guys, I can see lots of people on this morning, but again, Facebook is acting fickle. It's not showing me anybody. I think Keisha and Tara, and I can't tell who those other several other people on, because it's just got the number up. But guys, thank you for tuning in for this short segment of In the Garden with Joyful Living. I'm going to go work out this morning, even though I don't feel my best, and I know my trainer is not going to care at all. But I want all of us to start having the conversations and then acting. My best friend and Keisha, she's on. I think she's on. We're having a conversation this morning about how we are going to act now, about the corporations that are coming out, that we are seeing who is behind them and who they support. And this is the time for us to flex our spending dollars, because for corporations, ultimately, that's what it boils down to. We've got to stop with the day-long boycotting of things and start really just not patronage them at all. Don't go. If you notice this corporation or this store or whatever, this small business doesn't support black people, or they have racist policies, or they support racist candidates, Stop supporting them. Do not spend a single solitary penny in with those organizations, in those businesses. That's how you get corporations to pay attention, when you start affecting the bottom line. So if you know about organizations that don't support minorities, don't go in there. Don't give them your money. But we get very forgetful very quickly. We've seen all these campaigns about don't support this place or don't support, but then within a day or two, a week or two, a month or two, they have whatever it is you want, and you start continuing to go in there. If we're going to bring about change, we got to do things differently. So I wanted to take just a minute this morning to talk about, we are all uncomfortable, but then on some ways that we can start bringing about some changes in this world. The world we live in, it's never going to be the same. It shouldn't ever be the same. When COVID-19 has changed the way how we interact, I'm not happy about those changes, but the protests, the rioting, the policy changes, the people speaking up now, that's what's going to create a different world. That's what's going to change the world that we live in. So we have got to all be a part of the solution. And the protest, that's part of the solution. My live, that's part of the solution. Your blog, that's part of the solution. What are you doing in your business? That's part of the solution. But we have all got to do this together. But everybody, let's be cognizant of the fact, y'all, it's getting hot out here quick. Which is my project for the day. I hope to have something to show y'all next week about changes to the garden area. But all of that is part of the change, and we are all uncomfortable, and that's where the growth occurs. That's where the real changes occur. So we're going to be uncomfortable. Let's get comfortable being uncomfortable so that we can make this world a better place for our grandchildren and our great-great-grandchildren and the generations and the decades of people to come, because just going through the motions to make it through your lifetime doesn't do anything for anybody. Let's make a real impact on the U.S., on the world, and on humanity. So guys, thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. I'm getting ready to go out here and brave the heat and work out with this man this morning. God, y'all, I don't want to go. Oh, I don't want to go. But I know that that's the best thing for me. So I'm going in spite of how I feel physically this morning, because I'm sore from the workout on Thursday. Then my allergies acting up. But I know that's going to be what's the most beneficial to me in the long haul. So I'm going to suck it up today, and I'm going to go out there in the heat, and I'm going to put my best effort for it. So guys, thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.